On cross-examination, defense attorney Robert Sanger wonders if the former security guard, and remember folks, current police officer, I think that's a very big deal, his job was as a sworn peace officer, if, according to that job, if he ever busted anybody on Neverland.
And, in fact, had you seen anything unlawful at the ranch from 1998 to the time that you stepped away from the job, you would have been duty-bound to report that, correct?
Absolutely.
And, in fact, as a sworn peace officer, you probably, if you saw criminal activity, you probably would have been duty-bound to either investigate or even make an arrest. Is that correct?
Yes, to a point.
Okay, at the very least, report it.
Correct.
All right. And you found no need whatsoever to do that the entire time that you were there. Is that correct?
That's correct.
The people at Neverland Ranch that you worked with were made aware that you were a police officer. Is that correct?
They all knew.
All right. There was no secret.
No secret.
All right, as we continue, the cop/former security guard assigned to imprison or protect children, that's the question.
A couple of questions. Just in general, if children are on the ranch, are guests at the ranch, and they're staying there, and there's not a parent present, would it be the policy of the ranch not to allow those children to go off the ranch property without supervision?
Correct.
All object is vague to children.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, we would not let them go off the property by themselves.
So, at this time, do you know whether or not there was a parent at the ranch with Gavin Starr? Well, it was Gavin Starr, etc. So we'll say with Gavin and Starr.
I don't know for sure. I don't believe there was.
All right, so that would be a reasonable instruction for security in general, correct?
Objection argumentative calls for a conclusion.
Sustained as argumentative.
It would not be out of the ordinary, then, to not let children such as Gavin and Starr leave the ranch without approval or without supervision, correct?
Correct.
A cruel lord of the manor or just a commanding presence? Under questioning by defense attorney Robert Sanger, police officer and former Neverland security guard Brian Barron describes working for the King of Pop. Here's what the jurors heard according to the courtroom transcripts.
The ranch itself you understood to be Mr. Jackson's home, right?
Yes.
And one of the things that security was instructed to do was to accord Mr. Jackson respect as a person who is trying to live in his home, correct?
Absolutely.
So the idea was to not unduly approach him or burden him or take up his time while he's trying to be at home, correct?
That's correct.
And have you ever worked for any other celebrities or people of that sort?
No.
But that made sense to you, didn't it?
Absolutely.
All right. When you say that when Mr. Jackson was there, people were on pins and needles, did you mean by that to suggest that Mr. Jackson was a harsh or mean boss of some sort?
No.
Just the structure of the people there through the various commands and different departments made everybody aware that when Mr. Jackson's on the property that you need to be on your best behavior, right?
Yes.
And you didn't see anything wrong with that, did you?
No. Not necessarily, no.